video we are going to discuss electrolysis. 2020 NEET exam లో electrolysis బేస్ చేసుకుని ఒక క్వశ్చన్ అడిగారు. డైల్యూట్ సల్ఫ్యూరిక్ యాసిడ్ ని యూజింగ్ ప్లాటినం ఎలక్ట్రోడ్స్ ఎలక్ట్రాలిసిస్ చేస్తే యానోడ్ దగ్గర ఏ గ్యాస్ రిలీజ్ అవుతుందని అడిగారు. సో ఇది వెరీ ఇంపార్టెంట్, ఒక క్వశ్చన్ గ్యారెంటీగా వస్తుంది. సో ఎలక్ట్రాలిసిస్ అంటే ఏమిటి? ఎలక్ట్రాలిసిస్ whenever current is passed through an electrolyte, then it is split into ions. For example, sodium chloride. What kind of sodium chloride? Molten sodium chloride. Molten fused anhydrous sodium chloride. Anhydrous means without water. On passing current, it is split into corresponding ions Na plus and Cl minus. లోయర్ క్లాస్లో అలా చెప్పేవాళ్ళు. ఒక ఎలక్ట్రోలైట్ ద్వారా కరెంట్ పంపిస్తే అందులో ఉన్న అయాన్స్గా స్ప్లిట్ అవడాన్ని ఎలక్ట్రాలిసిస్ అనేవాళ్ళు. నా మనం ఏమంటున్నాడు ఇప్పుడు, నా ఆన్ పాసింగ్ కరెంట్ ద పాజిటివ్ అయాన్స్ రీచెస్ ఎట్ cathode. They reaches at cathode and they get discharge. Similarly, at anode, what happens? The chloride ions reaches. They loses electrons to form that is chlorine gas. Chlorine gas. Okay. Now, first of all, what is electrolysis? Electrolysis is on passing current. One electrolyte split into ions. This is first step. Second one, ions are discharged into corresponding elements. This is the definition of electrolysis. So on passing current, the electrolyte split into ions, followed by ions are discharged. So thus electrolysis is taken as the process of discharging of ions, into corresponding elements, is known as electrolysis. It is known as electrolysis. Okay, so the process of discharging of ions into corresponding elements is called electrolysis. Now, first of all, what is the electrolyte? Electrolyte is a substance which allow the passage of current either in molten state or in aqueous solution state. So electrolyte is simply what? A substance which allow current through itself, which allow current either in molten state or in aqueous solution state is known as electrolyte. This is known as electrolyte. ఏ సబ్స్టెన్స్ అయితే కరెంట్ని తన ద్వారా పాస్ చేస్తుందో, ఏ స్థితిలో? మోల్టన్ స్టేట్. మోల్టన్ అంటే ఏమిటి? మెల్టెడ్. ఎప్పుడైతే ఒక సబ్స్టెన్స్ మెల్ట్ అయిందో, సో ఆ ఆటమ్స్ లేదా అయాన్స్ అనేవి సపరేట్ అయిపోయి దే బిగిన్ టు మూవ్. ఆర్ ఇన్ ఆక్వస్ సొల్యూషన్లో కూడా ఎలక్ట్రోలైట్ సపరేట్ అవుతుంది అయాన్స్గా. సో సపరేట్ అయిన అయాన్స్ అనేవి మూవ్ అవుతూ కరెంట్ని తమ ద్వారా పాస్ చేస్తాయి. సో ఎలక్ట్రోలైట్ చెప్పాం. Now what is cathode, what is anode? Electrolysis time లో మనం తీసుకునే vessel లో there are two plates. Here is the electrolytic vessel. This is also known as voltmeter, not voltmeter. Voltmeter used for, this is the arrangement used for electrolysis. Clear? Now the plate connected to the negative pole of the battery is called cathode. plate connected to the positive pole of the battery. Positive pole. Here is the positive pole. The plate connected to positive pole is called anode. The plate connected to the negative pole is called cathode. So thus there are two plates in the electrolytic solution. Now in the electrolyte there are two ions, positive ions and negative ions. Let us suppose electrolyte is AB. AB is the electrolyte. AB is the electrolyte. It has the ions A plus and B minus. Then what happens? The positive ions begin to move towards the cathode because cathode has which charge? Negative charge. Negative ions begin to move towards anode because anode is connected to positive pole. So this is having positive charge. You know there will be attractions between opposite charges. కాబట్టి పాజిటివ్ అయాన్స్ నెగటివ్ ఎలక్ట్రోడ్ వైపుకి, నెగటివ్ అయాన్స్ పాజిటివ్ ఎలక్ట్రోడ్ వైపు వెళ్తాయి. ఏ అయాన్ అయితే క్యాథోడ్ వైపు మూవ్ అవుతుందో దాన్ని క్యాటయాన్ అంటారు. వాట్ యు మీన్ బై క్యాటయాన్? Cation means ion moving towards cathode. The ion moving towards cathode is known as cation. Towards cathode. Which ion moves towards cathode? Positive ion. So positive ions are called cations. Now anion. What is called anion? Ion moving towards anode. Towards anode are known as, that is the ion which move towards anode is known as anion. Thus we discussed the electrolyte, cathode, anode, cation and anion. You have clear idea. Cathode has a negative charge, anode has positive charge. Towards the negative charge, the positive charge ions will move. The ions moving towards cathode are called cations. The ions moving towards anode are called anions. Very clear. Now we are going to discuss electrolysis types. Electrolysis type. Type 1. In this one we are taking type 1. Type 1. In this one we are taking fused anhydrous NaCl using platinum electrodes. Clear. Now anhydrous means without moisture. Without moisture is called anhydrous. What happens on passing current? On passing current, sodium chloride ionizes into sodium ions and chloride ions. Now tell me which reaches at anode. At anode, you know anode possesses positive charge. Towards the positive charge, negative ions will move. There the negative ion loses electrons. You learnt loss of electrons is called oxidation. Loss of electrons is called oxidation. The negative ion lost electrons and form the chlorine gas. You learnt loss of electrons is called oxidation. At cathode, you know cathode has which charge? Negative charge. Negative charge attracts the positive ions. The positive ions gain electron and convert into corresponding sodium metal. You learnt gain of electrons is called reduction. Gain of electrons is called reduction. Now tell me, what is the product at anode? The product at anode is chlorine gas. The product at cathode is sodium. At anode what is happening? Oxidation. At cathode what is happening? Reduction. You remember like red cat. Red cat means reduction is always taking place at cathode. Reduction is taking place at the cathode. This is type 1. Now we go to type 2, second type. This time we are taking aqueous solution of sodium chloride. Type 2. We are taking aqueous solution of NaCl. Now these are electrolyzed by using platinum electrodes. Here one point we have to remember. Now in aqueous solution, Metal cations. Metal cations. What are the metal cations like sodium, magnesium, calcium, etc., aluminum, etc.? These do not undergo reduction. They do not undergo reduction. They do not undergo reduction. Instead, they do what? Instead, they 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 force H plus ions of water, to ionize, to reduce. H plus ions of water to reduce. For what reason? Because discharge potential, the discharge potential of metal cation is higher. This is higher than which one? Than H plus ion, than that of H plus ion, that of H plus ion of water, or this is also explained on the basis of SRP values, because now to undergo reduction they need high discharge potential compared to hydrogen. That's why all metal cations do not undergo reduction in the presence of water, except which one? Except copper, silver, gold, mercury, because they have less discharge potential, than which one? Than hydrogen, than discharge potential than that of H plus, so they undergo reduction as it is. Whereas the remaining metals, what are the remaining metals? Remaining all metals except these four, all metal cations in water do not undergo reduction, because the discharge potential of these metal cations is higher than that of H plus. So in that case what happens? H plus of water undergo reduction. That means water undergo reduction. Gain of electrons is called reduction. As a result, what is the product at cathode? At cathode, hydrogen gas and OH minus are formed. At cathode, what happens? General cation do not undergo reduction. Instead of that one, water undergo reduction. In water there are H plus and OH minus. The positive one gain electrons. Gain of electrons is called reduction to form OH minus. Hydrogen gas and OH minus. Because of OH minus, the solution become basic. Once the solution become basic, the pH of the solution increases. It become more than 7 or increases. So because of the more electropositive metals in aqueous solution, they do not undergo reduction. Instead of that one, they forces water to undergo reduction. As a result, hydrogen gas is formed and OH minus are formed. As a result, the solution become basic. Now we take sodium chloride aqueous solution. Now what is happening? First split into Na plus ions and chloride ions. At anode what happens? At anode, chloride undergo oxidation to form chlorine gas. We learnt loss of electrons is called oxidation. What happens at cathode? At cathode, sodium aqua do not undergo reduction. Instead of that one, what happens? Water undergo reduction. Water gain electrons to form hydrogen gas and OH minus ion. Thus the solution become basic. All metal cations, especially the metal cations, all the metal cations except copper, silver, gold, mercury. Except these metal cations, rest of the all metal cations do not undergo reduction in the presence of water. For what reason? Discharge potential of these metal cations is higher compared to the discharge potential of H plus. That's why H plus of water undergo reduction to give hydrogen gas and OH minus. After electrolysis, the solution become basic. The questions they will ask are, that is, the gas at anode is chlorine. The gas produced at cathode is hydrogen. After the electrolysis, solution become basic. After the electrolysis, pH of the solution increases. Okay, thank you.